Most people believe weight gain comes down to one simple thing: calories. Eat more calories than you burn, you gain weight. Eat fewer calories, you lose weight. But the human body doesn't only care about how much you eat. It also cares about when you eat. And one small change, simply stopping food after 7 p.m., can trigger a surprising chain reaction inside your body. Because after the sun goes down, your metabolism begins to operate under a completely different set of biological rules. Tonight, we're going to break down what actually happens inside your body when you stop eating after 7 p.m. From your hormones, to your metabolism, to the way your body stores and burns fat. And by the end, you might realize that timing your meals could matter more than you ever thought. Your body runs on an internal clock. Inside your brain there is a tiny structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This cluster of neurons acts as the master clock for your entire body. It responds primarily to light and darkness. When sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, this clock signals your body to wake up and increase energy production. Hormones like cortisol and dopamine rise. Your metabolism speeds up. But as evening approaches and darkness increases, your biology begins preparing for rest. Melatonin levels start rising. Body temperature drops slightly. And metabolic processes begin slowing down. In other words, your body shifts from active mode into recovery mode. This shift is part of what scientists call your circadian rhythm. And eating late at night can interfere with this rhythm. What happens when you eat late? When you eat food late in the evening, especially large meals, several metabolic systems become active at a time when your body expects them to slow down. One of the biggest changes involves insulin. Insulin is the hormone that moves sugar from your bloodstream into your cells. During the daytime, your body handles insulin efficiently. But at night, insulin sensitivity naturally decreases. This means your body becomes less efficient at processing carbohydrates. So the same meal that your body handles easily at noon may be processed very differently at 10 p.m. More glucose remains in the bloodstream. Insulin levels rise higher. And the body becomes more likely to store excess energy as fat. Night eating and fat storage. Researchers studying circadian metabolism have discovered something interesting. Your body burns calories differently depending on the time of day. During the daytime, your metabolism tends to prioritize energy use. You're active. Your muscles are working. Your brain is highly engaged. But during the evening, the body gradually shifts toward energy storage and repair. Which means food consumed late at night is more likely to be stored rather than immediately burned. Think of your metabolism like a factory. During the day, the factory is running at full speed. Machines are working. Energy is flowing. But at night, the factory begins shutting down for maintenance. When you deliver a large shipment of raw materials late at night, the factory doesn't process it immediately. Instead, much of it gets stored in the warehouse. The liver's night shift. Another important organ involved in late-night eating is the liver. The liver plays a central role in regulating blood sugar and metabolism. During sleep, the liver performs several important functions. It stabilizes blood glucose. It breaks down stored energy. And it supports cellular repair processes. But if food continues entering the system late into the evening, the liver must remain focused on digestion instead. This delays many of the body's overnight repair processes. It also increases the chance that excess nutrients are stored rather than used. The hormone effects. Stopping food after 7 p.m. can influence several key hormones. First is insulin. Lower evening insulin levels allow the body to more easily switch into fat-burning mode during the night. Second is growth hormone. Growth hormone is released in large amounts during deep sleep. One of its major roles is preserving muscle and encouraging fat breakdown. But high insulin levels from late-night meals can interfere with this process. Third is melatonin. Melatonin not only regulates sleep but also influences how the body processes glucose. When melatonin rises in the evening, the body becomes less efficient at handling carbohydrates. Eating large meals during this time can therefore disrupt both sleep and metabolic balance. What happens overnight without food? When you stop eating after 7 p.m., your body enters a longer overnight fasting period. During this time, several interesting metabolic changes occur. First, insulin levels gradually fall. Second, the body begins using stored glycogen for energy. And once glycogen begins to drop, the body slowly shifts toward burning stored fat. This process is known as metabolic switching. It's the transition from burning sugar to burning fat. The longer the overnight fasting window becomes, the more time your body has to operate in this fat-burning mode. The hidden benefit: metabolic flexibility. One of the biggest benefits of avoiding late-night eating is something called metabolic flexibility. This is your body's ability to easily switch between fuel sources. Some people rely almost entirely on sugar for energy, which means they feel tired or hungry whenever blood sugar drops. But when the body regularly experiences longer overnight fasting windows, it becomes better at accessing stored fat. Energy levels stabilize. Hunger signals become less extreme. And the metabolism becomes more adaptable. Why many people overeat at night? There is also a behavioral factor. For many people, evening hours are when cravings are strongest. Stress accumulates from the day. Willpower becomes weaker. And highly processed foods become tempting. This leads to what scientists sometimes call passive overeating. People consume large amounts of calories without realizing it. Simply cutting off food after a certain time can remove this entire window of excess eating. The science of early time restricted feeding. Several studies have examined a pattern called early time restricted feeding. In this approach, people eat their meals earlier in the day and stop eating in the evening. Research from institutions such as the University of Alabama has shown that this pattern can improve insulin sensitivity, blood pressure, and metabolic health. Interestingly, these improvements sometimes occur even when total calories remain similar, which suggests that meal timing itself plays an important biological role. The bigger picture. Of course, stopping food after 7 p.m. is not a magical solution. Fat loss still depends on overall lifestyle, sleep quality, diet composition, physical activity. But aligning food intake with your body's natural circadian rhythm can make metabolism work more efficiently. Instead of fighting against your biology, you begin working with it. Conclusion. At the end of the day, your body is not just a calorie calculator. It's a highly organized biological system running on internal timing signals. When you eat, how often you eat, and when you stop eating all send powerful metabolic messages. Stopping food after 7 p.m. extends your natural overnight fasting window. It allows hormones to rebalance. It gives your metabolism time to shift into fat-burning mode. And it allows the body to perform the repair processes that keep your systems healthy. Your metabolism was designed to follow a rhythm. And when your habits match that rhythm, the body often responds in ways that feel surprisingly effortless. Because sometimes the most powerful change isn't eating less. It's simply eating at the right time.